Tara,
Yes.
I just had an idea.
What?
All the time we're doing these lists, the best of this, the 10 greatest that, or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just talk to the people out there in YouTube land and all our friends that we've made about what we've been listening to during the week ourselves, just randomly,
Okay.
and see what they think of that, and maybe open a discussion on some of these random albums, okay?
Let's do it.
So Tara,
Dad.
what we've been listening to this week.
Yes.
Okay.
Now he's gonna have way more than me because I have had exams and I've been around the place. I've been in Dublin, I've been travelling around, and I've only really had the chance to listen to digital stuff. So I've only got like 4 albums here.
Well, you can talk about what you were listening to digitally as well.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm in the position where I work from a home office and I have a record player in the office. We actually do these videos in the office, so
Yeah.
I've got so I sit there and I have vinyl on while I'm typing stuff, and which is great. So I listen to a lot of stuff like that. And what I did was I just kept the albums I was listening to out,
Yeah.
so that I didn't put them back in the shelves again, so I'd have them there, so I could remember what we listened to. So, without further ado,
Who's gonna go first? Oh my god.
I am.
How shocking.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And I am going to start with The Roaring Silence by Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Okay? So I pulled this out the other day. I don't have this too long actually. I bought it on Discogs, and I kind of shied away from it because I know Blinded by the Light was a big hit, and I thought, oh, will I be sick of hearing that, and if I get the album, but no, it turned out quite good. I've got it on Discogs. I was buying something else from a seller. He had this up there and it was quite reasonably priced, so I said, yeah, sure, I'll have it. Absolutely great album. Great album. Not top tier Manfred Mann, but very close to it, I think. Blinded by the Light is great. I still kind of enjoy that song. There's kind of little bits, it sounds a bit, there's some sections in it that seem to have been cut out or edited for the single.
Yeah.
Singing the dolphin through, lovely kind of ethereal thing that takes you with it. Waiter, There's a Yawn in My Ear, a great kind of instrumental which was recorded live and then kind of overdubbed. Love The Road to Babylon, that open side too. And then, yeah, I mean, it's just quite a pleasant album. I had it on while I was working, and it was just fabulous to have there in the background. It's kind of a rocking album, and really interesting. I bought it from a seller in Germany, and somebody had stuck a concert ticket to the front of the album where they'd been to see Manfred Mann. So
It's a nice touch.
Mama Concerts presents Manfred Mann's Earth Band with special guests Racing Cars, 17th of January 1977, and it was 16 Deutschmarks. So there you go. So
That cover always reminds me of when you're in like a pub or a club or something and there's loud music playing and some drunk Egypt comes up and starts talking the ear off you, like. Oh.
He's probably got something real important to say, Tara, you know, some philosophical giant, you know, a pub stool philosophy.
Yeah.
Just what you need to enjoy a night out. So yeah, so that's what I started with, The Roaring Silence by Manfred Mann. Come on, Tara, impress us.
Well, you see, the weather is very nice over here at the moment. We've got
you
some
might go
sunshine.
short sleeves.
Yeah, we're here in t-shirts, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And I wanted something that would put me in a very good mood, and of course, Dance on a Volcano is just one of my favourite songs to make me, like, set me up for the day and put me in a really great mood. And of course you listen to that and then you have to listen to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been listening to A Trick of the Tail. Like I said, Dance on a Volcano puts me in a great mood. Madman Moon, I think, is a fabulous piece. Los Endos at the end, tying it all together and getting that little glimpse of Supper's Ready at the end of it is just brilliant. Just great album. We all know it. We all love it. Yes.
Yeah, I can't believe how long I held off from buying that album. because, you know, I was just into the Gabriel here, and I was going, I'm not buying that. A friend of mine kept saying, oh, you should buy that, and then one day I just said, I'll buy it and see what it's like. I just wanted their best. It's one of their best albums, really, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
You know, when you think about it, you know. So yeah, great album. So the next one I was listening to is another one. I was sitting at the desk and I said, yeah, I want something on. So I put on Mirage by Camel. Oh my God, you know. Free Fall, Super Twister, oh God, Nimrod L, The White Rider, you know, the slide guitar, and the latter plays it. I was sitting there like, and it just got into that, and he's just, you know, hitting this thing and pulling the slide back. I mean, God, yeah, it's just so good. It's just such a good album, man. Yeah, I mean, it just never ceases to kind of put me in a good mood. And you know what? When you hear somebody who kind of is capable of producing something like this and touching you in the way that Camel's music can, it gives me faith in humanity. I hate to say I kind of lose it now and again, but yeah, I think it's a fantastic piece of work. I absolutely love it. So yeah, Mirage by Camel.
Now, there was an anniversary for a great album last week, which I came across, and I was like, wow, I haven't listened to this since it came out, I'd say. And we always talk about Porcupine Tree or Stephen Wilson and Opeth separately, but what about when they came together and they created Storm Corrosion?
Oh wow, yeah, great album.
And I've been listening to this all week as well, and the title track is one of my favourite songs of all time. I heard it when it first came out. I was very young. I think it was 13 or 14.
That's right. I bought it when it came out.
Yeah, and I remember seeing the video for Drag Ropes and being horrified by it. But then I heard the title track, and it's the way Michael Ackerfeld plays the guitar on it is beautiful, and then Stephen Wilson harmonises with him with his voice. The way he can go very high is fabulous, and for some reason the sun just made me think of that song, and then I saw online that it was an anniversary for the album. I thought, well, I'm going to go back and listen to it again. So Storm Corrosion by Storm Corrosion.
Yeah, I remember when I was after getting that, your brother brought some friend home to the house. You know, the two little boys, like, we were going around the place, and I was listening to that, and I was on my laptop or whatever, and I remember I could hear the other fella saying, is that what your father does all day? And he said, what? And he said, listens to music from horror movies. So, very bad, very bad. So one of our recent videos was Best Sophomore Albums, and one that was running through my head after we did it, but we didn't include it in the video, was Strange Days by The Doors. It's an album, I love the music on this album, but I've always avoided it because I never liked the cover. Yeah, I don't know, you know, I just think it's exploitative. I don't want to sound like one of these social justice warriors, but I just think it's exploitative and it just isn't pleasant. You know, to be honest.
I think it's great.
Well, whatever. Floats your boat. So I kind of, I always kind of associated with that, but I sat down listening to it again because I think somebody in one of the comments on the sophomore album said, what about Strange Days? And I had been kind of thinking about Strange Days, but I don't think it's that different from the first album to kind of make it, you know, the sophomore album that defined the sound. But it is an improvement and definitely a step up from the first album. But yeah, I love it. When the music's over, it's just absolutely fantastic. People Are Strange, Love Me Two Times, Horse Latitudes, Moonlight Drive, Strange Days. I mean, these are all absolute classic tracks, and it's great. And it's just like these little short songs. They're all about 3 minutes long, and they just, People Are Strange is 2 minutes 10 seconds, and they just all just burst in like little fireworks as you listen to it. So yeah, very enjoyable experience too, listening to that this week as well.
Another one I've been listening to, it's very similar to my last one. It's a great album, but when I was really into it, I was going through, I get very emotionally invested in music, and I was going through a bad time in life the last time I was really into this album, and I felt like I was only ready to listen to it again recently. So I dove in and I've been listening to The Raven That Refused to Sing by Stephen Wilson. And it was just fabulous. I love this album. I think it's a masterpiece. And it's just wonderful.
It is a beautiful piece, yeah.
I always forget about that mad mellotron sound in The Holy Drinker, and when I heard it again the other day, like my whole body was just covered in goosebumps. I was like, oh my god, I forgot how good this was! Jesus, like... So it's been lovely rediscovering this album again, and you know, experiencing the chills that you get the first time you hear something all over again, even though I've heard it before, but it's been well over 10 years now since I listened to it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was very pleasant, I must say.
Ah, beautiful album, yeah, absolute classic. So one I've been listening to, I'm going over to CD too, is Riverside's Identity. So we're going to see Riverside next week, aren't we, in Dublin? So I was just catching up with their latest album, and I...
Do you know what they have, Dad?
What?
A Hammond organ.
Yeah, a Hammond organ. And we were looking at them, and they have a theremin as well on the stage.
If you see us on the news for robbing a Hammond organ, you know what happened.
Hammond organ stolen, theremin up the court, you know how to do it. If the weather's like this, I won't be getting anything up the court. There we go, yeah, but... very a good album, good solid album.
Yeah.
Not like the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Interesting to hear like the kind of modern keyboard sound and things like that. A lot of it sounds kind of 80s-ish to me, actually. You know, it's a bit of a callback to some of the stuff from the 80s. But yeah, very good album. All about kind of identity online, how we live in that way, like who we are these days, and you know. How your identity can be used and stolen, etc., etc. Recently had my ID stolen, and somebody made offers a load of money that should have been coming to me as well, which was an interesting experience. So yeah, very, very interesting. Sorry, I should.
On a lighter note.
Yes. Now back to something more light. What? Oh.
One hell of an album came out last week. One hell of an album. This man is the greatest living jazz musician right now. KAC Washington's new album, Fearless Movement, came out. And I pre-ordered the album so that we could get pre-access to the concert tickets, because we've been saying for years we have to see KAC Washington live. And we will be seeing him in October, which is going to be life-changing.
Yeah.
But this is the new album. Oh my god. Now this guy, he just never disappoints. Like, he's incredibly talented. I mean, look at him. I don't know what he has on him there. It's like samurai armour and everything on him there. But it is just wonderful.
It's an amazing album.
He has one hell of a band behind him. He plays with his father on it, which I think is really sweet. And he's an incredible musician. He's an incredible composer, writer. He's obviously reached a stage in his life where everything just flows so perfectly for him. I cannot recommend this enough. I know there's a lot of people out there who are iffy about jazz, but this is just incredible.
Yeah, check it out anyway. Check out some of his stuff. There's videos on YouTube and everything, and if you're kind of into fusion and really like if you're into progressive music, it's you know, it isn't prog rock, it's not prog, it's jazz, but like there is progressive elements in this. It's a very interesting album to listen to. It's a great album.
It's very pleasant.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna sit down and you're gonna feel so relaxed and like, God, isn't life lovely? When you have this on, it's just beautiful. So that's my last pick of this week, because like I said, I've got exams at the moment, so I haven't been able to do much else.
Terry, you can't leave me down, leaving it all up to your poor pop.
No better man.
Another one I had on was Astral Weeks by Van Morrison. Shout out to Vinyl Monkey. He hasn't put up a video for some time. So Vinyl Monkey, if you get a chance to see that, I hope you're okay. We, you know, he put a comment on one of our videos that we hadn't mentioned Van Morrison at all, and to tell the truth, I felt really guilty because I hadn't any Van Morrison, and I do really like Van Morrison, but I tend to take it for granted because living here in Ireland, you always hear Van Morrison everywhere. So I picked up a copy of Astral Weeks there recently, and I saw Andy Edwards recently put up a thing about this is like completely awful, unlistenable to album. I'd beg to differ. It's like a kind of like the experience you're describing with KAC Washington there. It's a kind of transcendental experience. I love it. There's references to places and things in Dublin and that come through in the album as well, which is very subtle, beautiful stuff. Yeah, it's stream of consciousness and just some jazz guys kind of playing behind him. So I love it, absolutely love it. Then I was in the sitting room with the other stereo the other night doing some stuff in the kitchen, and I had Bobaletta by Santana on the last of his 3 kind of jazz era albums. Absolutely classic album. If you haven't heard this thing, do listen to this. This is a fantastic album, uplifting again, very positive, very kind of the sounds of the weather we're having at the moment and everything. Yeah, just beautiful stuff. So yeah, love this album, absolutely great. I'm kind of going through my Corrosion knots now, Tara. And then we were doing our last video on 2 people we'd lost, Mike Pinder and Richard Tandy, and just to kind of in memory of Richard Tandy, I pulled out this one because I hadn't listened through the whole album for a long time, and these double albums, they're kind of an experience that you can take on. So I put it on, and yeah, it's an interesting album because like there's a couple of great sides on it, and there's a couple of sides that are kind of they wander into different areas and they meander, and like a lot of double albums do that.
Yeah.
Something like the White Album by the Beatles is very like that as well. Jeff Lynne would love to be hearing me sitting here comparing them to the Beatles, but yeah. So like side 1, absolutely amazing, and then side 3, the Concerto for a Rainy Day. Full lot of that is just an amazing experience to just sit and listen to that. The way all the songs kind of come together through it, and to be honest, I didn't finish side 4 because you came in and interrupted me.
Oh, it's my fault now, as usual.
Yeah, and then you were gone off somewhere the other day.
I was working.
You were
came
working.
in and he had this on.
And I was in the sitting room and I was enjoying the whole experience of Tales of Mystery and Imagination by the Alan Parsons Project. I was sitting there like going through like the pages, like I was reading the book as I was listening to the album and having full kind of immersive experience of it. Absolute, what an album. This is a great album. The sound on it and everything is just astounding, and the chances that the guy takes in the music is just something else, and it all works, which is great. So absolutely love it. So I was listening to that, and then my last one, which is one I was listening to this morning actually, was A Passion Play by Jethro Tull. Again, I was in the sitting room, I was going about doing a few things, and I had this on playing away there, and another wonderful full-on immersive experience. So that's this week's album. So I hope that you liked us kind of sharing that with you. Like, let us know what you think. It's rather than kind of just pulling out the top 10 of this or the top 10 of that. It's nice to do something now and again just based around randomly what you've been pulling out and listening to during the week.
Get to know us a little bit more as well, like just what we reach for quite often, although this was a bit rare for me and you probably, but anyway, if you want us to do it again, let us know if you enjoyed it. Put in the comments what you've been listening to this week. And make sure you give us a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please try and up the subscriptions for us. We kind of need a little bit of a boost in that area if you could. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.